I always knew that I had something to give to the world, and I was always scared to do it.
Why?
Fear is a mofo.
Welcome to the podcast from Doug Ground Up Productions with hosts Lady Miz and Ray. This is a universal platform, and there is nothing off limits. We talk about it all, and we keep it real. This is a no judgment zone, so come as you are. If you are a professional, entertainer, author, comedian, entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to get something off their chest, well, let your voice be heard here on From the Ground Up Productions. Sponsorship and other opportunities are available from Doug Ground Up Productions. Turning nothing into something. There's only one way to go from here. And now, here are your hosts, Lady Miz and Ray.
What's up, y'all? This is Lady Miz from the Ground Up Productions, and I have one of the dopest up-and-coming, but not really up-and-coming because he is out there. He's outside. Mike Williams from The Honest Hour. Let's welcome him to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you? Appreciate you having me on your platform.
Listen, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on our platform. Like I told you before when I talked to you on your show, you are somebody who is really thorough when you interview people. You know what I mean? I
Absolutely.
see that you do your thorough research, and I wanted to get to know you because you're always out here talking to everybody else, getting everybody else's story, but we want to know your story. You know what I mean? So give us a little history on how you got started and when you got started.
So with the podcast, it was just really an idea.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, I announced it, but then I didn't really like pull through with it. So then I was at an event. Shout out to the Mavors. It was one of their events.
Okay.
And me and a good friend of mine since kindergarten, Nisi, we were having a conversation. She said, just launch it. Because you got the idea. You're going to do great. And I just wanted to do something that really upheld me and upheld my people. And I started it in February 29th of 2024.
Okay. All
That
right.
was the first episode, and it was virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's just been growing ever since. And I wanted to do it because I had a friend, Naj Murph, who passed away in 2020 due to a seizure. So he had said to me, because I had posted a status years prior about suicide, and he had seen it, and I was like, I posted it and then I deleted it right away.
Okay.
I don't want the info. I don't want the attention. That comes with that. And he seen it and he was like, "Yo, I seen that." I said, "You ain't seen nothing." He goes, "No, I seen it." And then he said, "You cannot take your life because you haven't fulfilled your purpose." He said, "You may not know what it is today, tomorrow, you may not know what it is for 10 years, till 10 years. And I was like, wow. And funny enough, 10 years later, it came to fruition. And he died in 2020.
Oh, man. That's crazy. I do vaguely remember you telling me that story, which is very deep. And I think it's so important when you do have friends and people who really care about you to speak life into you, especially at a point where you are feeling sometimes hopeless or, not feeling good about life, period, right? And you always need that person to be there. It doesn't matter if it's friends, family, just somebody close to you to make sure that they lift you up in those darkest moments. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. And he was a shining light to everyone who he came in contact with.
Right. Okay.
One of those special spirits. But And on top of that, I like to talk. So I figured if I talk, one day someone will pay me to just talk.
Oh, listen, that's what we here for. You already know. Stop playing with
us. We just talking. It's just trying to make that money.
There you go. So why did you choose to do podcasting? Because there's radio, there's so many other different things, but you chose podcasts. Why?
Because no one can tell me what to do with it. If I go to radio, I got to answer to somebody. Podcasting, it's mine. I own the rights to it. There's no, you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't do this. Of course, there's still certain things that you have to be careful when you're talking about.
Right.
People will cancel you.
Oh, all day. Okay.
But radio, it's like, okay, you can't do this. Like, I was interviewing, do you know Aaron Boogie?
Aaron Boogie, not sure. I don't think so. Or maybe by face, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's a radio show out in Poughkeepsie. And I had her on my show at one point and we were talking, and then she was saying there's certain things you can't do, certain things you can't say. So you have to be very wary of it. If someone wanted me to come on a radio show, sure.
Right.
But podcast, as you see, Honest Hour, it's on my hat, it's on my shirt.
Brandon, that's what I'm talking about.
Brandon. That's where it is, because it's more, I feel like I'd be more personalized.
Yes.
Instead of saying you have to talk about this, you have to talk about that.
Okay.
I can just have the control I want and make it as personable I want. And it's helped a lot of people, I feel. At least that's what I get from it.
Listen, no, I think that you are doing that, and you're giving a voice to a lot of people as well, too. All types of different entertainers and actors, businesses, everything, so I think you're doing an amazing job. I also understand too, as far as ownership, because that's extremely important. We do stuff, we want opportunities, but we still want to own our own material and don't want people to tell us what and how to do things, because it takes away from you being authentic. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
That's the word I always use, authentic.
Okay.
That's what I want to be, is authentic. And I think that's what makes people gravitate to the show. Like, you've been on there twice now.
Yes.
And people say they don't feel like they're being interviewed. They
feel
like it's a conversation.
Exactly. And that's how it should feel.
Absolutely. Not like it's like pressure or, I interviewed someone who their episode's going to air in May. And she goes, I usually don't like podcasts led by men, but this was phenomenal. This was great.
Led by men?
Yeah,
she don't like men?
I was like, hey, whatever it is, it is.
I wonder what that's about. Men. I wonder what men are doing to make her feel that way.
Maybe in terms of just podcasting for her. I didn't get to the nitty gritty, but now I'm going to have to ask her that question.
Yeah, I would ask.
That question was off camera.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm going to have to ask her that. I'm curious.
I'm curious too. Let me know when you find out.
I got you.
So I know that you are now doing like a network. You're on a network.
Yes.
Big shout out to Elijah. Tell us about the network, how you got in connection with him, and how all that is coming about.
All right, so that's a little bit of a long story.
Okay.
But we're going to try and simplify it.
Okay, all right, let's do that.
So what happened is I noticed, I got a lot of this stuff and things that happened at the Happy Tree. Shout out to Tiffany and Tasha for everything you have done for Honest Hour, all the connections I made there, all the guests who have come from there. I want to personally say thank you to them, because without them, it wouldn't have been anywhere close to what it is now.
Okay, all right.
Because literally, so Elijah and I met in Happy Tree for the first time.
Oh, okay. So you met him there.
I met him at Happy Tree.
Oh, okay.
Like, when I say literally, Happy Tree was the core of this show.
And
how everything came together, it was the core.
All right.
So, but prior to that, we had messaged on Instagram, and I kind of was getting a feel for what we need, who he was. And then I didn't even see him. He noticed me.
Okay.
And then we start talking. He starts showing me the camera, starts showing me how he does things. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work. Like the production here, it's a lot, Right. The lights and the cameras and, the roadcaster and the microphones.
Yes.
So we kind of just talked. Then I seen him again, like 2 weeks later, there was another event. And then he started doing these men's breakfasts.
Okay.
He does them every second Saturday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out to it, and we were talking, and he started pitching this network. And I'm kind of like listening, and I'm just like, okay. So I looked to him. I said, "Take Honest Hour." He goes, "Really?" "Yeah, why not? What's the worst that can happen, right?" And he was like, "Okay." So then we made a handshake agreement that day.
Okay.
2 weeks later, he presented me with a contract. I signed it. Pretty basic contract, nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still own my show. I still own the content, all that. He does the production, and he helps, and he splits the sponsorship with the shows.
Beautiful, beautiful.
In my eyes, that's a win for me. Altogether, it changes the perplexity of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So once that happened, I ended season 1 and had him pick up season 2, and we do just about all the episodes in person. The network's growing.
Beautiful.
We're looking for more sponsors, but that's always the hardest thing.
So 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you said you're growing. You did season 2 with him, but I sometimes still see you do some online interviews. Still, I see you go live and still do some online interviews. Are you doing both in person and online? Is there a reason for the switch up sometimes? Give me some information on that.
So when you see that, typically that guest is out of state,
okay,
far away.
Okay.
So I interviewed this one gentleman, Ben Bacardi. He's in Long Island.
Okay, so
he's
he can't
not
make
close.
it.
I interviewed a producer named Cruiser Urameshi.
Mm-hmm.
He's in California.
Okay,
so,
all right, same.
I have another guest coming up, TJ Vita. She's from the Bronx, and she makes music and things like that. But she lives in Florida. So we're trying to coordinate. So a lot of times, if we can't coordinate it, even, we'll be an in-person.
Yes.
I'll go that route. But if they live far, I'm just going to
do it online.
And now people are reaching out like crazy. Like, it's so crazy, I can't even keep up. And I'm forgetting people. And then, people cancel because I batch record the episodes. So we do 4 or 5 episodes in one day.
Okay.
So what I'll do is someone will cancel, and then I'll fill them in quick. And then I got to reschedule that person, which pushes back someone else. So it's just a lot of scheduling and back and forth, and everything has to go right.
Listen, that's the part of the business, right?
Absolutely.
Especially when it starts taking off, we totally understand that too. Because we obviously do the same thing, but if somebody's not close, they're far away, then you do online. And you know me, I love to work from home too.
Absolutely.
As we are right now, baby.
Ain't nothing wrong with working from home.
You damn right. You know why? There's a lot of tax write-offs there too. Okay, you know the business. I'm sure you do.
Absolutely. You gotta go where the money is.
Okay. So now, sponsors. How do you guys find your sponsors? Do you find your own sponsors? Do the network find the sponsors? How does that work?
So right now we just have the network sponsors.
Okay.
So he had 3 or 4 sponsors when he started the network.
Okay.
So from there, the contract states if he gets a sponsor, he has to split it with the shows on the network.
Okay.
If I get a sponsor, then it's mine, unless I choose to split it with the network.
Got you.
So if I were to get a small sponsor, I would keep it. But if I were to get a relatively large sponsor that could help the whole network,
right,
then I would share it.
Okay. All right. Nice. What do you do when you're looking for sponsors? Are you out there like searching? Are you hitting up businesses and things like that? Do you do that when you're searching for sponsors?
Well, I just started kind of really getting my footing because now the network has brought me into the business side as well.
Okay.
Honest Hour is actually, by the numbers, the leading show.
Oh, congratulations. Yes.
So, and that's due to the fact that I'm very aggressive. I post the flyers every week multiple times. Tag the people who are going to be in the shows. I post clips of the episodes. And when a part happens I like, I say, clip that. And they clip it. And then, it just creates a nice algorithm.
Right,
so a lot of eyes come on to the show.
Okay.
And it's not anything against anyone else. Mm-hmm. The other showrunners don't do it. They just don't.
Listen, hard work pays off.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, you doing all that yourself, or do you have people helping you?
So some of the clips they do,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll send them to me or they'll post them. And some of them I do.
Okay.
I do all the flyers myself. I try to be hands-on because, see, the problem is this, and this is no offense to anyone, but a lot of the shows think they got production, they ain't got to do work. Right? So,
that's not true.
And, they think, okay, you got the lights, you got the cameras, you got the microphones, you got the equipment. I just got to show up. No. There's so much work behind the scenes that has to be done. You still have to, even though you have a team editing your production and doing these clips, you still have to get some merch, I would say. You still have to promote, do those flyers, do those clips, do those videos so that people see you and see your platform.
That's right.
Because now this network has 15 shows. I can't expect Elijah and Don to do all that for me.
Right.
You got 14 other shows to attend to. Therefore, including my sports show, which I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can do anything to alleviate that from them, I don't do the editing side. That's too frustrating. Way too frustrating.
It is a lot of work to edit. I don't.
I know you know. I'll give you and Ray all the credit. Because, man.
Give it mostly to Ray. Because I do it, but I don't do it like that. But I realize that I don't like doing it. So I will overlook it after he's done and say, okay, yeah, dude. But other than that, you got that. That ain't me. We the talkers over here. We the talkers, baby. So
that's why I take so much pride and time into doing that, honing that craft and making sure that I can do the best, put the best foot forward.
Right.
Now I'm on the business side with them, and now we're talking about deals and we're talking about certain things and how to grow the network and make it bigger.
Nice.
I put them through with my merch person. Does my merchandise, so now it's all about growing and creating bandwidth.
There you go. I love that. So do you know how many people you interviewed so far? Do you have like a number?
Okay. I've done overall, season 1 was 59 episodes.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Season 2 is at 6. This week, I think, is 16.
Okay.
So I've interviewed, some of them are multiple. So you've been on twice. Hood Soul's been on twice. Remedy Love, she's going by Kyla now. She's been on 3 times.
Okay.
So I would say roughly around, I'm going to go with like 60 to 65 people.
Wow, that's a lot in the amount of time that you've been doing it, which is great. You see what I'm saying? And that's
Absolutely.
How you get yourself out there. That's when we started. That's what we were doing. We were going hard with different people because it's like you're connecting with so many different people. Your name is going to get out there. You know what I'm saying? Your name is going to get out there.
It's so funny you say that because now I can't say exactly what it is yet.
Okay.
It's not time to announce it. But something is coming for me that I've had the honor of being asked to accept that's come from that podcast. I can't
really?
say what it is yet.
Oh, we want to know. Damn, we don't get a sneak peek or nothing.
It's just, it'll be soon. I haven't been given the authorization to announce it.
Okay, all right.
Just because there's other bodies involved, but
okay,
something big is coming that I could tell you off camera.
Okay, all right.
I can tell you off camera.
Let us know in the background.
You big sis, so you can know off camera. Just can't announce it to the world yet.
Nah, yeah, well, we won't say nothing, but I want to know shit. I mean, we talking about it.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's talk about any issues or anything that you might have come across doing this where it made you say, I don't think I want to, or do you have any struggles when it comes to podcasting that would make you feel like, why am I doing this?
Honestly, not yet.
That's good.
I genuinely love doing it.
That's good.
Genuinely love it. It comes from a good place. And it's getting to a point where now people are starting to reach out and say, okay, can I come on? Can I come on? So now it's getting to a point to how do I make this profitable?
That's the part.
So someone reached out to me from Houston to come on to the show.
Nice.
And but when they reached out on a business side. They told me it's a $35 price to go on to their show.
Wait. I'm confused now. They reached out, for you to go on their show or for them to come on yours?
For me to go on their show.
Okay.
And they're saying when they have guests on that they promote the episode and everything like I do, but they charge $35 to do so.
Oh, okay,
So
yes.
Now I'm like, now I got a light bulb in my head.
Well, we were doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to think of certain ways that how I can do that, how I can make it profitable for me. And because in a sense, the other person's getting a service, right?
Yes.
Right?
There you go.
Like we're sitting here, you're in your home. Rightfully so. You guys are using your time, your equipment, your electricity, your lights.
Run it up. Y'all hear that tax? The IRS. You hear that, right? That we claiming that. You better understand what it is. This is business.
So you could say, well, within your rights, hey, listen, I got to charge you $50 for this interview. I got to charge you $30. So now because time, you can't replace.
You cannot.
You don't get back. Money you can replace. You can get money back. But time is priceless. So it's now trying to figure out how I can do that for me. If the other shows don't want to do that on our network, so be it. But how do I do that for me, for myself?
Now, let me tell you something. So we charge for interviews as well. We don't charge everybody. And when I say that, like if I'm reaching out to someone, I don't charge them. Because I took the initiative to say, hey, I want you on my show. You know what I mean? So that I'm just speaking for myself. I'm going to tell you this for other people who might be out there with podcasts and trying to figure out how do they monetize from it. I'm just giving my advice. It doesn't mean that it's the best advice. It doesn't mean that I have it all figured out, because although we've been doing it for few years now, we're still figuring certain things out. We still make adjustments. It's always
still learning.
Yes. And it's always room for improvement, no matter what. I'm always like, you know what? Let's do this now. Let's make this better. Let's change this, But what I will say is that when we were charging, some people they don't want to pay, right? Some people don't want to pay. Now, do you turn them away because they don't want to pay? What I would do is say, okay, if you don't have the money to pay, the first thing I'm thinking, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm keeping it real, is
gotta keep it 100
all the way. How do you say you want to promote yourself and get yourself out there, but you're not willing to invest in yourself? So the light bulb comes on like, are you really serious? Or is this just for play?
Right.
Because we do this for real.
We trying to really make something happen here.
There you go.
Versus the BS. There's no need for it.
Okay.
You have to invest in yourself to supersede what your expectations are.
Absolutely.
If I want to go, like, let's say, for example, I have a list of dream interviews. People are on this list that I want to interview. One of the people at the top of that list is Will Smith. I love Will Smith. I don't care that he smacked Chris Rock. If y'all upset with it, I don't care. But I will one day, and I believe in manifestation.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever watched. I know you've seen some of my videos. I don't know if anyone out there has watched them, but manifestation's real. Absolutely. I am manifesting that one day I will be in one seat, Will Smith will be in the other.
It's going to happen, okay?
Nas is another one. My all-time favorite rapper.
Yes.
Will be in that seat. Denzel Washington.
You got all the people on my list.
Denzel Washington will one day be there. And it's all about manifesting and how. So now, when you get to those kinds of things, sometimes you got to pay that price tag. But I know for a fact, if I'm sitting in one seat and one of those three or anyone else is sitting in the other, people are going to watch.
There you go.
People gonna watch, and then wherever that goes through, you know, and you start seeing the views, and you start seeing YouTube sees it. That's when you start making checks. And that's when you start being able to get bigger artists and bigger names and things of that nature.
Yes,
and that's what I'm looking for down the road.
Right.
That's what I'm manifesting for myself.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, all right. And go ahead. You got a question?
We've been doing this a while. How do you deal with the critics? Because you always got them. You know,
Have you had any haters, right?
Like negative haters? Yeah. Believe it or not, and this isn't even clout. No.
That's good.
I've not had anyone say anything negative. I've taken certain criticisms, like people say maybe you should do this or that. Like sometimes I have a hard time not going I try to kind of alleviate that, and sometimes my pronunciation of words. I wasn't the best in school. I wasn't the best in school. So like sometimes I'll pronounce a word and it'll sound funny, but for the most part I get positive feedback. And if there is negative feedback, no one's told me.
I hear you. You know, one of the things that I realized in doing podcasts is that there's not one podcaster out there that is 100% perfect in everything, right?
Absolutely.
So you might say, okay, well, you know what? Oh, I don't pronounce this word 100% right. Well, there's people who have accents and they're speaking English and some things might be off. But I feel, and this is just my opinion, if we get the message, I'm not looking for that little imperfection to try to point out something, to find something wrong. I'm looking at the message that you're giving me. You know, like you said, you go on social media and I've seen a few of your things where you're manifesting things and you're talking about a lot of positive stuff,
Absolutely.
You know? And my thing is, that's what matters. You know, anybody that come across and say, oh, well, you didn't say that right. And it's okay if you want to educate someone so that they can fix something if it needs to be fixed, right? If it needs to be, if they're unaware. But let's say you had a list and you can't say it right. Am I going to sit there and be like, nah, because I get your message. So to me, that's what's more important.
That's what a lot of people say. I think it's just something within me that I think, and it's something that in my mind I feel like I have to improve on.
Okay.
It's just, you know, but some people had said that, but a lot of people just, they love the message. They love the show. They love the guest. They love what I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to do more stories this season. I had a friend come on. Her name's Rebecca. She talked about overcoming drug addiction. You know?
Right. Those are deep stories. I've done them too. Yes.
I was at a networking event last night right over here. You know, Janelle's event. Janelle Santana.
Do I don't know? I probably would have to see. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. With names, horrible. Okay, do not look. Don't judge me. Horrible names. Yes.
She does a lot of great stuff in the community, and she puts together a lot of networking events. So last night, it's funny. There was a woman there who was a police officer. She goes, "Well, have you had a police officer on?" I'm like, no, but I said the reason for that is because police officers, I have personal feelings, you know. And I said, I can't have a police officer come on who may get offended, because that's one episode that will be indifferent. Mainly because I'm going to say how I feel, and I need the person who's the officer to not get offended or not get upset.
Okay.
You know, so she said, well, these are the stories people need to hear.
Absolutely.
So she'll be on. We're going to record in September for October for her, because she's actually running for councilwoman, I believe she said.
Wait, she's a police officer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And she's going to run. She's running for councilwoman in the town of Walk Hill here.
Okay.
So I said, okay, come on, we'll promote you, and we can have the conversation.
Well, look, you got to be honest.
Absolutely.
But I will say this: we've interviewed ex-police officers, retired, I should say.
Right.
A few of them. And one of the things that and this is just my opinion, because I've had my personal opinion about them as well too. But sometimes when you talk to them and you're able to see things from a different point of view, because you always have to have an open mind, right?
Of course,
because there is two sides to the story. So you got bad police officers, but you have good ones too.
Absolutely.
And think about this. If you was a cop, You had a family at home. You know that there are some real serious criminals that don't give a damn about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that you need to make it back home and you don't know who you're approaching. Your mindset might change a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? So, I'm just speaking for me. I had to look at it from a different point of view and say, well, damn, maybe I shouldn't be looking at everybody like that, because that's almost like them saying, well, all black people is this way. And we know that that's not true.
Nowhere close.
You know what I mean? So,
and I respect that, looking at it from perspectives, but sometimes it's hard to look at it from that perspective when you see other perspectives. And you see, the things Eric Garner, play in my head. Or what's his name? Jesus. Oh my God. Fruitvale Station. What was his name? Oscar Grant.
Okay. Yeah.
Things all those like that, that are horrorizing. George Floyd. Those things play in my head. And I know not all cops are like that, but for the ones that do those things that are egregious, those are the things, unfortunately, that always stick. It's kind of like prime example. I posted 2 videos back to back, right? Mm-hmm. I posted one time a positive, uplifting video, and I posted something about Kanye West just to do a test. Okay. The positive video, an hour later, had 19 views. The Kanye West one had over 300. So even still, it's all about training your mind, because you're gonna go kind of towards that negativity. It's something I'm learning to not do, which is why I post these affirmations and these positive videos to train my mind to look at things from the other side of the coin, not just from my point of view.
I love that. And I'm glad you're doing that. And I'm going to tell you like this. Make sure you stay stuck in that, rooted in it. Then Let me explain why I say that. Because it's hard to know that most people on the internet are looking for what they think is the drama, what's going to get them the most views. Most people sell out. They do different things, because if you're like, okay, I'm going to post this positive thing. It got 19 views. And everybody else is posting all this other stuff that's, negative or whatever. They're getting so many more views. People are going to look at me like I'm not as successful on here as them. So how do you stay continuing to do what you know is right? You understand what I'm saying? To know that, I got to keep doing this no matter what nobody thinks, because I got a purpose, because that's what you represent, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's why I got a clothing line coming out called Purpose and Positivity. Purpose and positivity. And that's what people need.
Yes.
They need both of those. Not one, not the other, but both.
Absolutely.
And people like you said, they sell out and be like, well, this isn't doing this, so I got to go here. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you stay true to you, and like I said, consistency is key.
Yes.
Eventually, it's going to get you to where you're trying to go. But the other thing is, people aren't patient. They want it to be here, now, right now. No. Sometimes you have to be patient. You have to take your time.
And it takes years.
Years.
Mm-hmm.
Years to get to where you want to be. And you have to take it easy. People think people like Bill Gates were successful overnight.
Amazon. Okay. They were starting in their garage for years, and people laughed at them. You know what I mean?
And now they're a juggernaut.
There you go.
You think, these these companies, even things like Pepsi or Coke, you think they were overnight? No.
Absolutely not. So, I love your logo, by the way. The positive purpose and positive. I love it. It's so nice. I love the colors. So I just wanted to tell you that. Definitely nice logo there.
I made it myself.
Oh, you did it yourself? Give me that. Okay, Pooh, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
My list of skills is huge. I don't do many on the logos. I don't want to be selling them, because I don't want to be,
because then people, they switch up.
Yeah,
I know.
Like this. Can you do that?
Yeah. Have you had any? I know I asked a similar question, but I know you said everything has been perfect. Anything, that you regret doing?
Not starting sooner. Not starting sooner.
So you always knew in here?
I always knew that I had something to give to the world, and I was always scared to do it.
Why?
Fear is a mofo. And over the years, I've learned fear has two meanings. Now, a lot of people say false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
But for me, and I actually heard that from Big Sean first, one of my favorite rappers, by the way, Big Sean. Shout out to him. But it's either fear has two meanings for me: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So for me, it was more of the perception of what people thought. At the time, I had some dental work that needed to be done.
Okay.
So I was very self-conscious about it. So that was part of it. That no one would care. That no one would care. Like,
because of your dental work?
No, just in general. That no one would care. No one would want to watch. I'm like, who would want to talk to me? Like, things of that nature really just made me fearful of just doing it. But now it's to a point where I couldn't see my life without it. So I think I was just fearful of perception from others. And then I learned as I got older that perception isn't always reality.
There you go. And let me tell you something. And I know I said this on your show, and I say this all the time because I really stand on this. Mm-hmm. When you finally do not care about what people have to say about you, that is when you are truly free.
Yes.
Because it's like you're no longer a prisoner to other people's thoughts.
Yes.
Think about that. You were holding back from what your purpose was based off of somebody telling you what they think you should be. You know what I mean?
And no one had told me anything. It was just up here.
Right. But what you think people would think of you.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
What was your breaking moment? Tell me about that break when you just said, was it the phone call from your friend or was it after that? What made you say, this is it? I'm going for it.
Wasn't at that point. It was when he died. When he died and I had known that I hadn't done what he said I could do. That made me feel like life was too short. When he died, he was 30 years old. He turned 30 years old 2 weeks before he died.
Wow.
So maybe a little less. His birthday was Christmas Eve. He died January 7th. So, and it's always rough that time of year because he died the day before my wife's birthday. So, and then his funeral was on our anniversary as a couple. So that time of year is always like bittersweet. But I feel like I knew I hadn't done what he said I could do. Like he wanted me to manage him, his music. I'm like, I don't know how to manage. He goes, well, you better figure it out. He's like, I don't know how to do it. So you're going to do it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, thanks for the job.
I'm like, a job you didn't apply for?
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, I didn't know that this is how it was going. But then I knew I had to do something. But it actually started off as getting back into photography.
Okay.
That's how it really started. And I started pushing that. And then things changed. Like I still do it, but I don't really promote it, right? Like I'm not looking to do it because people are stressful sometimes.
So, wait. Because I was going to ask you about that. So being a photographer, do you only now just do it for yourself? So you don't outsource that as a service that you provide to the public?
Oh, no. If someone calls me and they want me to take pictures, I'll do it.
Okay.
But it's not something that's at the forefront of what I'm doing.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's not at the forefront. It's there. It's a service that's usable. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But it's not something like I'm like I'll do this, I'll do that. Because it's time consuming and people don't want to pay the price. So, for example, I had a friend who was getting married far away. It was like a 2-hour ride to where it was. So he figured since we were friends, he would ask me. Well, I told him I gave him a price of $4,000, which was fair.
Okay.
So I figured because now you gotta look at it like this. You want me there at 10 a.m. Okay? So I got to get up at 7.
Mm-hmm.
I usually have everything ready the night before when I'm doing something. Get on the
Good.
road 7:30 because I like to be a little early in case there's traffic, in case there's an accident, anything like that. Get on the road, drive to you. Hopes to be there by 9:30, maybe a little earlier. Set up. Now you're telling me you want pictures. Your wedding starts at noon. So okay, take your pictures. Take the pictures of the bride getting ready. Do the ceremony. Do the reception. And then let's just say if it starts at 12, it's going to be over about 6. Now I drive home. Now I'm going to get home like 8:30. So now I've been out of my house full 12 hours. So now I got to include gas. I got to include if there's any tolls. And if I needed a hotel, which I didn't, I was just going to drive home.
Okay.
But if I needed a hotel, I said, I ain't fronting the bill for all that. That's all going to be in the price. And I make it a requirement that you got to feed me too.
Okay, because you got to eat.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like, you want me there 10, 12, 14 hours. You got to give brother some food. So he said, that's too much. I said, okay, go price other photographers and see how much it costs. And then just let me know.
Okay.
He went, a week later, comes back. Yeah, man, 10, 12, 15. He goes, 4 doesn't sound good. I'm like, well, 4 is now 75.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Close. He didn't want to pay that. I said, well, good luck. Good luck.
Let me tell you something about that. I'm so glad you just broke that down the way you did, okay? Because we offer different services. From the ground up, it's not just podcasts. That's why we call it productions, but we do events. We do a lot of stuff. So, and I'm not trying to be funny or shady or disrespectful to anybody.
Absolutely.
But see, you can't tell people, no, sorry. You cannot allow people to tell you what you're worth. And people will put a discount on everything about you if they can to get anything out of you for free. But you know what you forgot to mention?
What's that?
After it's all said and done, you still got to go home and go through those photos. See, the job ain't done yet.
That part.
See, that part all day. And when we're doing services for people and they don't understand, I'm driving to you, I'm driving back, we're working. And when the event is over, I'm still working.
Yep,
the job ain't done. We ain't clocked out yet.
Yep, you got to spend, hours upon hours upon hours editing those photos. I did a wedding 2 years ago. It's my first wedding. 2 friends of mine charged them $1,400 for, gave them a nice price for the belief in me.
Okay.
And they loved their photos, but I took 1,300 pictures. And when I was all said and done, they had 569.
Time consuming.
Yeah.
And editing. And fixing.
And throwing out. Most of them are throwaways. I take 3. I have 2 cameras in a holster that just goes. One stays here, one stays here, and I just take the pictures on each. And then if I get 1 out of 6, okay.
There you go. Then you got that good one, baby.
That's all that matters. Like, oh, wait, you blinked. Yeah. All right, do it again. Yeah, move there. Rearranging people. Oh, let's do this. Let's do that.
Right.
Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. It's all just about trial and error.
There you go. I'm just glad that you brought that up because I think that a lot of people, you provide another service and a lot of people don't understand that the time that it takes that you put into your craft, that you're creating something nice for them and they trusted in you and or us, right? Thank you for that. But that doesn't mean that, that our services is not worth anything and our time is not. Because like you said earlier in the beginning of this interview, time you cannot get back, baby.
Never.
Okay?
Never.
Okay? They need to know that. Listen, I'm with you all the way. That's why I said, you know what? And my daughter told me this. She said, Ma, you got to start paying attention to who you do business with because you can't accommodate everybody. If this person does not want to pay your price, don't do it. You got to find where your audience is at or the people is that's willing to pay what you're worth. You can't just keep giving yourself away because they ain't got it. Like, nah, this is a business.
Exactly.
Not business, business.
Business. And it comes to a point where she's right, and shout out to her.
Soraya likes to say.
you have to realize that sometimes no sale is better than a discounted, right?
Say it again.
No sale is better than a discounted sale because now you're watering down for someone else's comfort. And what'll happen is they'll say, okay, like for example, I've told people with my merchandise, the network gets my price. No one, I told her, I refer other people. Don't give them my price.
Right.
Don't give them my price. You give them your price. And I said, so, and she's like, really? I said, yeah. I was like, you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart, in a sense, for me.
Mm-hmm.
Little she knows she gonna get hooked up on the back end once we start doing some real traction. Ashley's a printing and embroidery. That's the name of the business.
Okay.
She gonna get something on the back end. But like that's the thing. I'm not gonna water down what I'm doing for you, because guess what? If you want a watered down price, you're gonna get a watered down effort.
Okay, you better let them know.
Okay, you gonna pay me that little bit? All right, so I'm gonna show up when I want. I'm gonna take like 7 or 8 photos, and then I'm gonna leave. Like
you gonna get what you pay for, right? Because that's what they said. When you ordering, you trying to look on the website. Oh, I'm gonna go with this cheap one, and then it break. You got what you paid for.
Right. You don't go asking Nike for a discount when you get them sneakers. You
don't
go asking PlayStation for a discount when you bought that game.
Nope, they're standing in line overnight for that bad boy.
And I used to be one of them people. Now I wait till it go on sale. I don't need it the first day. Like
absolutely. Okay, all right, we here. We here.
We on the same page.
All day.
110%.
Yes. So, what could we expect from you now in the future? Do you have any other things that you're working on?
Well, Honest Hours in full swing. Still doing the sports show as well. I also, on top of that, I got a lot of other talents that I do hold to. I'm actually an ordained minister, so I can marry people.
Get out of here. You know what? Who else? I think Mikey D is an ordained minister too. Oh, absolutely. Snap. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Mikey D, that's my guy there.
Yeah.
I gotta get him on the show, but he's a hard man to track down.
Yeah, Mikey D is busy, okay? He going for everything that he said it was owned to him. Go get it.
Absolutely. I gotta get him on the show. Shout out to Big Veg too, because he's one of the founding people I look up to doing this line of work for sure.
Yes.
And he gave me my flowers, and I was like, that day I knew I arrived. No one could tell me nothing. When I heard Veg said it, I was like, I took that as the biggest compliment.
Veg is the GOAT in media, baby. Absolutely. He is. He's been doing it for a long time. Yes.
He's great at it. I'm also licensed in security.
Oh, wow.
Security guard. I'm almost licensed to sell life insurance in New York.
Okay.
I'm looking to get licensed in credit repair. I'm actually looking to get my armed security license as well. Obviously the Honest Hour clothing line, the Purpose and Positivity clothing line is coming.
Okay.
I'm still doing the photography. Like I said, I'm working behind the scenes with the COC network. I work with an entertainment company named All Right Entertainment.
Okay.
So
wait, All Right Entertainment. I feel like I heard of them. Where they from?
Well, the guy who started, his name's Anthony AR, which stands for Around Revenue.
Mm-hmm.
He's from out here in Middletown.
Oh, this is somebody different then. Okay.
So it's a smaller company, but it's something he's been growing. So I'm involved with that. So I got my hands in a little bit of everything.
Smart. A lot of people, I do a lot of different things too. A lot of people would say, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. You got to now. No, you don't have to. You could be multi-talented and multi-passionate, because in today's time, what people don't understand is that in this crazy economy, you have got to be having several different streams of income.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I applaud you for making sure that you are doing all of that and holding it down while you're doing it.
But that's a testament to you. You, and I think I've told you this, but if I haven't, I'm going to tell you now on your platform here that you're the reason why I started doing all that.
Oh,
when I
look
went
at that!
when I went to interview you the first time, and I'm looking, I'm like I'm just saying how I felt it. Holy fucking shit, she does a lot. I was like, and then you got the kids, you have a husband, and you come on, and you was like, I still work a 9 to 5, and I was like, wait, what? What?
Gotta get that paper, baby.
And I'm looking, and I just said, if she can do that and be a mother, a wife, and all that, and still find these streams of income, I can do the same thing.
And you doing it.
And I'm,
you doing it. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
You're starting to turn it. The wife's like, well, we got to see some money. I'm like, listen, it's work. It's work. It's good, but it's going to come.
That's right.
And there's going to be a day where I say to you, you don't have to work full time anymore.
There you go.
That's the goal.
There you go. See, that's beautiful. And thank you so much. I'm glad, that means a lot to me to be able to know that I am inspiring other people, because people do tell me that. Not everybody announces it. A lot of people tell me more in the back end or in the DM, right. And that's okay. But just as long as I know that I'm doing that, because that also is serving a purpose. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Because if somebody might be wondering, can I do it? Or if I can, let me show you that you can, because I'm going to be honest with you. And this is just me being transparent.
Right.
I do sometimes I just do other stuff, then let me see if I could do this. I don't, you know what? I can do it. Well, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. But I know, there's nothing stopping me but me.
Right.
You know Absolutely. What I mean? So, and you made another great point. Sometimes you got to wait for that money to come in. It don't happen. People will give up quick if the dollars don't come fast.
Yep.
But see, you can't do that. You got to wait, because when it's time, it's going to come.
Oh, and I left something out.
What's that?
I also I'm working with a group to become a travel agent too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. So we're going to hit you up now this is traveling all around the world, or?
Yeah, you could travel wherever you want to go. I just been, I started it, and it's just haven't had the time to really put everything I need to into it, but we're starting to free up some time, make some moves, and that way I can definitely start offering that service as well.
Beautiful. Okay. That's good. Congratulations on all that. That's dope. That's dope. I love it. Now, do you act? Because that's the one thing you didn't say. I've been looking at you. I'm like, I'm posting these things. He ain't saying, maybe he don't want to do it. I want to know, do you act, or that's not your thing? Have you ever tried or wanted to?
It took long enough. And another thing was, I guess I could say, was what took me so long to podcast that I left out before was being in front of a camera. So now, acting, I don't know. I don't really like the way my voice sounds as it is. I don't know. I don't know if I could memorize all the lines.
That's what I was afraid of. Okay. Take small lines. I'm not trying to push you into another thing, but hey, since you said I inspire you, let me go on and push you into the actors. You know why? Because I'm doing the film. I be needing some actors. I'm like, let me see.
Need a little couple extras even.
Yes.
Mike will give you 6 or 7 lines,
Listen, you could do it. You could do. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like for me, it's the same thing with memorizing the lines. But I do music, right? So you know that. For me, it's like if I just keep playing it over and over, it's like a song. Mm-hmm. Say your lines and just keep playing it and just keep saying it, and then it'll stick. That's just a little technique I'm giving you there.
Oh man, yeah.
All right, you got it.
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
All right, good. I'll be talking to you after the show.
So you said,
I got this little part here. I need you there.
You said this is what you would try to do.
Well, look, like I said, I think that you're doing amazing things. Wait, before we close this out, because I'm going to close it out soon. In the beginning of this conversation that we're having, you said that it was important that you can have ownership and be able to do things the way you want to do it. If an opportunity came that was paying really, really good, but you were going to have to sacrifice some of that, would you take it?
Sacrifice.
ownership or having to adjust and not do certain things that you may want to do, but you can't because of the rules that a bigger company has?
I wouldn't do it if it's going to sacrifice me being authentic. There's sometimes, it depends. If you're coming to me, that means you think I can offer you something that someone else can't, right? So now, how I have to figure out if I can play it in my favor.
Right.
Like if you're telling me I got to sacrifice everything, hell no. But if you're telling me, all right, we're going to give you some rope. You can do this, you can do what you need to do. But there's certain things, depending on what those little things could be, I might do that. But if I got to do a hard, brash sacrifice, kind of like hit a brick wall, no. That money's not worth me giving up being authentic. That's not what I built me on, and that's not what I'm building the brand on. Being authentic is key. Now, like for example, I had an opportunity to take Honest Hour to a bigger platform. Someone offered me money, to do it. Now, and then now I could easily get out of my contract, right? But I look at it like this. I entrusted Elijah with the vision. I came on board, and what's there is established, right? I would rather stay here and build and see the fruits of the labor. Now, I told said person, I'm all right to come over there and do a show with you. That's fine. But it ain't going to be this show. This show's got a home. And this is where it needs to stay. Now, if you want to invest in this here, that's something we could talk about.
Gotcha.
But I said, I got to, loyalty is everything.
Okay.
And unless Elijah says or the network says we don't want you, as of now, I don't plan on taking the show anywhere.
Okay. All right. So somebody came and offered you and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And
wow.
and we kind of had some open conversation. There's some other ideas that have been swayed around that we're working on, including one idea I have in my head. I've wanted to do it for a while. It's all about finding the right situation. And you're one of the people that comes to mind when I had this. I wanted to have these conversations like we're having now, but I need a female co-host.
Okay.
To give the other side of the coin, right?
Okay.
And it's one of those things where there's been some people, but listen, time, right? That's been the whole thing, is time.
Yeah.
Certain people don't have the time to dedicate. So it's an idea I'm playing with. And if I can align everything, maybe one day. That's something I would like to have come down the line. Another podcast. Also, a wrestling podcast. Two of my friends have twisted my arm.
Wait, speaking on it or like a wrestling podcast?
Oh yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan.
Really? I think is everybody becoming big wrestling fans now? I don't know.
Today's WrestleMania. Like, we're gonna go do this.
Look, he's like, because he's watching it. I'm like, everybody's watching it everywhere.
That's like when you called and said, "Can we do it earlier?" I was like, "Yo, absolutely."
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Good.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. So, dang. Okay.
WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday.
So you got your time back. You gonna do what you do.
It's so bad with wrestling. Like my mom, I had said to her, I'm like, listen, Mom, Easter's WrestleMania. She goes, okay, what adjustments we got to make? Like this is bigger than the Super Bowl for me. Like that's how big of a wrestling fan I am.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So, dang. All right. Well, I can't wait to see that. We're going to close it out. But what I want you to tell people is give some advice that you would say to somebody who's looking to do what you're doing, right? Some encouraging advice, because in today's time, there's so many people out there that view people as competition. They're gatekeepers. They don't want to help others. And it's just like, there's so much negativity going on where they look at everybody like they the ops because they do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be like that, because there's enough for everyone, okay, out there.
Absolutely.
So what would you say to somebody who is looking at you like, hey, I want to do that? You know, this is something that I always wished and dreamed of. What advice would you give them?
I would say to you, to everyone who wants to do that, is first believe in yourself. Believe that you can do it. Have a game plan, have a vision, have a purpose. Fulfill it. And it's okay. On our first interview, we were online. That's okay. People think you need all this equipment and the lights and the cameras. It's nice to have, and if you're able to access it and have a space to do it, that's great. But it's not necessary. If to get started, you can just use Instagram Live. You can use StreamYard. You can use Riverdale. There's so many different ways. And, you know, when I'm doing it, all I have is my computer, I have a camera, and I have a microphone that I use when I'm podcasting my sports show, because we do that online. And when I'm podcasting, guests that are far away. So have a purpose, have a game plan, and also look up to people. Find inspiration. Lady Miz is a huge inspiration for me. Huge inspiration in terms of what she does and how she holds it down, how she carries herself. You know, I've looked up to Mooch. She's another inspiration. Say what you want about her. She does her thing. Big Veg, of course, another inspiration. These are people who I look up to and who I see what they do. And then sometimes I take a little bit of what I see and I apply it. So that's what I would say. Look for information as well. Believe in yourself, have a game plan, have a vision, and you will supersede expectations of anything. J. Cole is my favorite rapper currently. And he said something that always speaks to me. Is he goes, see yourself as high as you can see. Like as high as you can see. And then look up there and go a little bit past that. Look up there. He's like, envision that for yourself, which is where manifestation comes in. Purpose, positivity. Because we're all we got, and there's only one you. And you have to do what you have to do to succeed.
I love that. Amen. Beautiful, beautiful message there. And I love that beyond too, because, you know, we say, oh, the sky's the limit. Go past that. Go past that.
Well, once again, Big Sean, he once said, whoever says sky's the limit is looking dumb because I'm 22 and I'm moonwalking on the sun.
Okay. And you be knowing the bars too. I see that. And you don't rap. No. The one thing, I don't know. You might need to write a 16 real quick. I don't know.
I thought about it. You know, Najee always said, because I used to write poetry.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, are you holding back? You're supposed to tell us that. Nah, we're going to have to bring you back on.
Listen, my theory is this. If I hold something back, that means I can come back.
There you go. There you go. And look, I was about to say, can you give us a little, so I don't want to put you on the spot though. You know, I don't like doing that to people.
What's that?
You know, like a little poetry line or something like that.
I don't have nothing on.
No, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good.
I'm a little rusty with the poetry. I haven't done it in a while, but.
Okay, but you write poetry. Okay.
I do. But one thing I will tell you that I'm actually planning.
Okay.
I know you asked before, but sometimes we forget things.
Yeah.
You know?
Telling me.
I actually was told that I should write a book, right? Of positivity and affirmations.
Oh.
And I was like, once again, that fear, forget everything and run. It's like, who would care? And then people were like, oh, I would read it. I would buy it. So I think I'm going to do it. I think
you should.
I think I'm going to write a book of positivity and affirmations for people, and I'm gonna sell a book. Why not?
Listen, that's your brand.
Yeah.
Put it out there. Put it out there.
Yeah.
Don't hold that back. It all connects.
Yeah.
It all connects.
It'll be purpose and positivity. The book, something like that. We'll figure the name out.
Yes, we're gonna figure it out.
Because if you're looking to write a book, she owns a publishing company, so
there you have it.
That's where I'm going for mine.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
Absolutely.
Lady Miz Publishing, let's get it.
Let's get it.
Well, look, thank you so much, you know what I mean, for coming on the show. And I'm happy to be interviewing you because I know I told you that like a while back. I was like, hey, I'm going to interview you. You was like, one day.
Hey, listen, one day, it may have taken a while, but one day is now.
It is here now, and I'm happy. I just want to be able, I love to give people their flowers too. You know,
Absolutely.
a lot of times like us as the interviewer, you know, we're talking to people and stuff, but you want to be able to say, hey, I see you. I see what you're doing. I applaud what you're doing. You're doing amazing things and I believe in you. And we do the same thing, but we see each other as brother and sister, like, you know, teaching and learning. And I can learn from you as well. And I do learn from you. I learn from other people. It doesn't have to be the way like some people are. So I appreciate people who are like that. You know what I mean?
Works both ways. Always a pleasure. Always an honor to be with you here and your husband. Thank you for inviting me to your home.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Because it's always home is a safe space, right?
Yes.
So, like, my fear was my wife had said to me, and I know you're trying to close, but I just can't stop talking.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
You know, home is a safe space, and people, like, for me, my wife said, well, why don't we have an in-home studio? And I'm kind of like, I haven't had a bad guest with bad energy, but I'm fearful that sometimes, like, I don't know the guest and I'm having them on the show and our energies don't match, you know, because it happens.
Yes.
It happens. And your energy's not the way I thought it was. I don't want that energy in my house because people don't understand that energy switches. Like, and you know, I'm going a little too far here, but I'm just
talk that talk because I be thinking that, but I'm about to touch on that too. Go ahead. We can't close out yet. Go ahead.
So I was having a conversation with a female friend of mine about sexual energy because, and I'm just gonna say it how it is. Sex is, you know, not just about you know, the pleasure of it, but you're exchanging fluids. You're exchanging, you're exchanging energy too. You know, you're sharing your body with another human.
Yes.
And when you do that, even though you're like, okay, I feel better physically, that energy switches. Your energy goes with hers and his goes with hers, or his and hers and hers. However you decide you want to do what you do. So it's all, and I don't know if I could allow, and I know that was a little deeper than it intended, but that's the only drawback I have from a house studio is that, you know, I don't know if I want that if that happens, I don't want that situation in my house.
You got to be careful with who you bring in your home. Like for me, and I know really saying this, it's going to be crazy because somebody might come across like, if I be like, we can do it online, even though they close, they might be like, oh, so I must be the bad energy person that you don't like. But at the, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, people be looking and they be paying attention and they be picking up what you putting down. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it don't matter if they do that because guess what? You got to still protect your space. Okay. Absolutely. And you're right. Energy. You got to cleanse that about your house because it don't matter if you got a show at your home or not. It could be a friend or a family member that you could open the door for and bring that same negative energy in your home. And then you realize like, wait a minute, this energy's in my house and now I'm having problems. This is happening, because energy is everything. Absolutely. So I agree with you. So I would say you can still do it if you want to create that, for me, I always felt like I wanted to always have a place that's also convenient. Like I could do it other places and other stuff, but this is convenient for me as well. And I told you, you know, when we talking business and we talking tax write-offs, it serves its purpose. Okay. Absolutely. So, but at the end of the day, you don't have to do everybody in person. If you feel like, listen, I can't. I can only do it. They don't know why. My time is only available for online right now because you really don't have to explain. Sometimes we get into this thing where we feel we need to explain to people on a regular basis. I don't really got to explain nothing to you. If I said no, it's just no. This is how we going to do it, and that's it.
To learn to live our life like the news, and what I mean when I say that is the news is only going to tell you. The News is only going to tell you what they want you to know. They're not going to tell you the whole story, and they sure as hell ain't going to tell you the truth. So live your life like that. Only tell people what you want them to know. And then once you post it online, don't think because you delete it, it goes away. That too. Because it'd be in other parts. I remember I would post something in Facebook and it would delete. It would say it could be in other parts of Facebook.
Yeah, they archiving it
it's
somewhere. Because they need that in case you did something. They could pull that back up. You said you did. What you say you didn't say? They'll pull it out real quick. They got receipts.
They hit me with a ban for something I said in 2015. I'm like,
listen, I'm still getting stuff like I'm restricted. They're not letting people see my content. I violated. And I'm like, I'm trying to find out, where's the details to see. I can't even figure out what I did. But the thing is, telling the truth will get you in trouble too.
Exactly. They don't want that. So that's why I've primarily become an Instagram user. Facebook's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Because Facebook, it's the same company. Like, why are y'all sensitive on the Blue app?
Listen, I'm posting on Facebook because at the same time, you monetize on there too. You get money from there. So I'll be like, we got to close that because you know how we do. We talk because we talk.
Exactly. That's why, that's why I try to keep my show under an hour and a half.
It's so hard.
But then when you get someone with the good vibe energy, it's just like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yes. It's hard. But overall, when I would be like, okay, certain people are saying certain things on my posts. Then I started saying, well, you know what? Let them go ahead and talk. I'm going to get paid for that. Your interaction is going to get me paid. Talk all the crap you want to talk. Disagree. Matter of fact, I'm about to start putting stuff because people do that. They'll put something that they know is a complete lie because they know everybody's going to go in and correct them.
They'll be like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. And all that is, and money.
Keyboard warriors.
This whole internet, social media, you can either use it for good or bad or however. But for a lot of people, it's a game. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It's a game. Like everything on there is not legit. You got to be careful where you get your information from. You got to do your own research deeper than what somebody else said. And just because they're popular don't mean that they're right. It's a lot that goes into that. But yeah, that's it, man. We gonna close it out this time for real.
All right. Well, once again,
shout outs. Yeah.
Thank you. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to the COC Network. Shout out to From the Ground Up Productions for having me. Thank you for everything and all your inspiration. And everyone stay inspired. And I always say, and I'm going to trademark this, be better than you were yesterday, but be prepared tomorrow to be better than you were today. Peace.
All right, y'all heard it here. This is From the Ground Up Productions, and there's only one way to go from here, and we'll see y'all on the next episode.
This is Mike Williams from The Honest Hour. I'm here from the Ground Up Productions. They're having everyone sign their door. I get the honor of being the first. So, from the ground up, I know I'm going up, so I'm going to sign up top. Boom.
All right, let's get it.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed your time with From the Ground Up Productions. We'll see you next time. Be sure to add our channel to your Roku list and listen to us on all streaming platforms. From the ground up. From the ground up. There's only one way to go from here.